Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Randesha, or Randy for short. And in today's video, we are going to be setting up my November budget calendar. So I don't think I've ever shown how I do this, so I thought it would be a good, quick little video, hopefully, on my process, because it is an essential part to my budgeting process, and it's kind of the key reason why I'm able to stay on budget as much as we do. So without further ado, let me jump into it. So the first thing that I do is I get a scratch calendar. So I printed these offline from blankcalendarpages.com, and they have several different calendar templates that you can choose from if you want to go there and get you like scratch dated calendars as well. So the first thing that I do is I put all of my bills on the monthly calendar. So I'll do the entire month, no matter if that bill falls into future paychecks, or even if it spills over into the next month. I make sure that, because I'm a very visual person, I make sure that all of my regular bills are on my monthly calendar. And then all of the bills that are on my, this is October, whoops. All of my bills that are on my, my monthly budget are on here as well. So my budget for November does go from November 6th to December 3rd. So I have to make sure that all of the bills up until this point are on these calendars. So what I like to do is just go through my budget list and make sure everything is here. So my mortgage for the November budget is going to fall on December 1st. So that one is there. Childcare, I need to put that. Oh, actually I have it on my calendar. So childcare here in this paycheck, and then childcare here in this paycheck. And if I didn't say it, each one of these colors is a different paycheck. So they are bi-weekly paychecks. So it's just, again, a visual to help me see where the paychecks land. So right now I'm doing all of my regular monthly bills in all of my essential cash envelopes. So my essential cash envelopes, I'm talking about gas, groceries, things that we need, like every paycheck to be taken care of, regardless. So, you know, assuming that everything is normal, that nobody's unemployed or anything like that, but just business as usual, gas, groceries are our essential envelopes besides our monthly bills. So that's part of our four walls. All right, so water and trash I have here on the 23rd. Also, another note, I'm keep remembering the things I want to say as I'm going through this. I list my bills on the day that they are due, not regardless if it's a weekend or not, because I do use the previous month's calendar in order to roll over the dates for my monthly calendar. So for example, this was October. So all of the bills and stuff that fall on these dates, I just rewrite them on the date of the current month that I'm working on. So I hope that made sense. So I'm not moving dates because they're falling on the weekend, because if they fall on the weekend, if they fall on Saturday, some places will charge you on that Friday. And if they fall on that Sunday, they might charge you on that Monday. So unless you know for sure, I would just stick with the due date. So again, water and trash. Electricity is Edison, that's right here. Natural gas, that's right there. Life insurance for my husband is right here. Life insurance for me it fell into my October budget. So I want to make sure that, is it going to fall into my November budget since it's due on the 5th? So for November, my budget stops on December 3rd. So since I essentially already paid my life insurance for me in the month of November, it's not going to be due again until December 5th. So I wrote that right there. So essentially the yellow and the green are my November paychecks. So it doesn't fall in the yellow or the green. That's why it's marked off on my monthly budget. If you guys don't remember me saying that in the previous video when I set up this budget. So Vivint is, let's see, Vivint should be like on the 1st. So it is for the calendar month of November. It did fall into my October budget. So that means that for November budget, it's going to fall on the 1st of December, which does fall into my November budget. That's why it's on here. So MetLife, let's see. MetLife is right here. Frontier is, where is Frontier? Frontier is right here on the 10th. Verizon is right here. Our ID theft insurance is right here. Netflix is right here. Disney Plus. I did forget to add Disney Plus in when I set up this November budget. This was Hulu originally, but since Hulu for the calendar month of November fell in my October budget, again, it's not going to be due until December 4th, which falls out of my November's budget. So that's why Hulu, if you watch my November budget, that's why Hulu was not in my November budget. But since I did forget Disney Plus, I did have to go back off camera and adjust this budget for $6.99. So Disney Plus falls on the 6th. So that is in my November budget. iCloud is for the 14th. So that's right there. And then so this column right here covers all of my monthly bills. So I know everything from here is on this calendar, or it falls in December by the 3rd. So I know I'm good here. Now I have to check my essential digital envelopes. So my essential digital envelopes is gas, groceries, I'm not going to do diapers, like even though that is, if I had no money in our diapers envelope, then this would be essential for this month. But since I do, I'm not going to like prioritize diapers. So just gas and groceries from my digital envelopes is essential. So I like to schedule my gas and groceries to come out every 2 weeks. So half of our gas is $110. So sometimes I'll put the amount just to let me know how much I want to allocate towards something for that specific paycheck. If it's like a bi-weekly expense. So groceries, we do $480 for the month. So divided in half, that's $240. So that's paycheck number 1 for November. So paycheck number 2, since I get paid on Fridays, I like to put the majority of our digital envelopes and sinking funds and stuff like that. I like to schedule it on that Friday. So again, gas is going to be $110, groceries is $240. So that'll, both of those together will make up our monthly budget. So I'm good on bills and essential envelopes. The next thing I like to do is write down any date specific items. So we know Thanksgiving is coming up on the 25th. And for those who saw my setup, you saw that I did not have anything in planned expense. Typically Thanksgiving would be there. We're probably going to go to my in-laws' house for Thanksgiving. So, but I do want to cook like a small Thanksgiving meal for us. So we'll have some food, for a couple of days, at least through the weekend. So the majority of the money for Thanksgiving is going to come out of our food budget. Actually, now that I'm thinking about that, I am going to allocate a little bit less groceries for this first paycheck and then put more in our second paycheck to accommodate that. So usually I do $100 a week. So for 2 weeks, I'll do $200 for groceries in paycheck number 1. And then I'll add that $40 to paycheck number 2 so that we have $280 in groceries for the paycheck that covers Thanksgiving. And also too, another planned expense that I would usually have is my son's birthday. His birthday is on December 2nd. But with everything going on right now, I'm I'm typically one of those people that value experiences over things. So I did want to do something for his birthday, but I haven't figured out what, because I don't really want to take him out to a public place to celebrate, and anywhere that I would take him, he's probably too small for. So, and by December, it'll be pretty cold out. So I can't just take him out to like a barbecue or something like that. Like, I could plan it, but it's probably going to be cold outside. And I don't want to get my hopes up and then we not be able to have it because of the weather. But I don't know. So that is in the back of my mind. Whatever we do will be low key. So we're not going to have any kind of like big party. I'm not one of those party people. I just rather go out somewhere and celebrate rather than throw a party and buy him a whole bunch of gifts and toys and all that kind of stuff. So, but anyways, so as for date specific things, I'm going to just scan really quick. This is fun money, diapers. My school loans is a date specific bill. So I did put that on the calendar for the 12th, because that's when they're due. Even though they are on forbearance right now. And then sinking funds are just that. They're not day specific. So I do have to get another oil change, but I already have money in our car repair and maintenance account in order to get that done. So that's the only thing I can think of that would be kind of like date specific. But since we already have the money for that, I'm going to just schedule the car repair and maintenance as I need to. So what I'm going to do now that I have the bills and essential digital envelopes written down on my calendar and any date specific events and purchases and all that kind of stuff on my calendar, what I'm going to do now is write down all of the expenses that fall into paycheck number 1 on this half sheet, and then all of the expenses that fall into paycheck number 2, I'm going to write on this half sheet, just so I know where I am with both of these paychecks. And I'll fast forward it or just cut it out so you guys aren't sitting there watching me in my terrible handwriting. Okay, so what I did was, let me show you guys. I wrote all of the bills that fall into the first paycheck, which is from November 6th through the 19th. The expected income is $5,100 divided into 2. So $2,550 is our expected income for that paycheck. And this is all the bills that falls into paycheck number 1. So as you can see, after taking out all of the expenses from that paycheck, we're left with $1,383.26 for paycheck number 1. So now for paycheck number 2, paycheck number 2 goes from November 20th through December 3rd. And again, it's the same $2,550 for our income. And these are all the expenses that fall into paycheck number 2. And as you can see, our mortgage is in paycheck number 2, which definitely puts us over budget. So that's why I really like doing this method. It might seem like a lot to some people where I do this monthly budget list first, and then I do a calendar, and then I do paycheck budgets. But the reason why I don't like to do just a calendar and then jump right into paychecks is because I know that my mortgage is going to be due in my second paycheck, and I know that my second paycheck is going to be over budget. But if I don't do this, where I'm like planning my paychecks ahead of us being paid, then I wouldn't know by how much we're over budget for paycheck 2. I might have all this money and think like, whoo, I got enough money to go and buy me some stuff. Or if Hugs wants something, or if our son needs something, we got it, because we know we're going to be over budget for our paycheck. So let me just roll over some money from the first paycheck to the second paycheck to make sure that we're straight. But do I really know how much that is? So I might like guesstimate and roll over $900, when in actuality, I really need $997 rounding up. So that's why I like to do this, because it shows me the weaknesses in my budgets before I get paid, instead of waiting to get paid and then doing my paycheck to paycheck budget. Because also too, if I did just the calendar just to see how the bills would play out. And especially if I only wrote my monthly bills on my calendar and didn't account for gas, groceries, and like all the other essentials to take care of our four walls first. If I didn't put that on my monthly calendar as well, then that wouldn't be calculated in here either. So that's just one of the things that I like to do. So going back to, if we just did the monthly calendar and then the paycheck budget, I would have to wait till the paycheck came in and then do this. So that's when I would see this amount. And then it's like, it wouldn't really give me the liberty to feel like I could spend this money, just me personally, just because I already know I'm going to need this money to roll over into the second budget. So I'll probably just like go on a no spend for these 2 weeks, which you guys know is hard because it is planner season. But I'll probably go on a no spend for this paycheck and then figure out paycheck number 2. And that's when I can figure out like how much I could spend. But doing it this way, I know right off the bat, like even before the month begins, how much I'm able to play with, you know, after all the bills and stuff are paid. So that's kind of like one of the reasons why I do all 3 of these steps. So it might seem like a lot, but it is very informative. So now that I know that we're going to be over budget this amount of money, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a rollover. So that's why you guys always see a roll mortgage. So rollover for my mortgage every time in paycheck number 2, because our income is not enough to cover our mortgage and all the additional expenses that need to come out in these 2 weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start playing with the numbers. So let's see. So I'm going to start with 1100, rolling over 1100, because I do like to give a little bit more and kind of like balance out my paychecks. So that's what I'm doing here, is just balancing out my paychecks. So both paychecks have roughly the same amount of money left over once everything is said and done. So I will have to play with the numbers for a little bit here. So we're going to say 1100 to begin with. So that's going to be an expense, and then that's going to be added to paycheck number 2. Okay, so add that. So that's going to be plus 1100. So now I'm left with 103.22 in paycheck number 2. And then over here, we're going to do 1383.26 minus 1100 because we're rolling it over. So now we have 283.26 left over for paycheck number 1. But I'm not done, because there are still more expenses that I need to account for from this budget, because remember, we only did our monthly bills, our essential digital cash envelopes, and I did debt. So you could put debt on there, you know, any date specific expenses or events or something like that. So now I am going to make sure the rest of these items from my monthly budget is on this calendar. And I like to go through and make sure that everything from here gets on this calendar with a little checklist. I don't like to mess up my monthly budget, so I like to write it in like a little part of the calendar that I'm not using. So we got gas and groceries. And remember, I went through all of this already, so I'm not going to start here. So I went through gas and groceries and added it to the calendar. I need to add diapers. I need to add fund money for me, my husband, and our son. So my husband, me, and our son. And then that's it for the digital envelopes. And then I already added school loans to the calendar. So now it's on to sinking funds and house supplies. I need to add still clothing. I need to add still toiletries and beauty. I need to add still home repair maintenance. I need to add still car repair maintenance. I also need to add, and then medical is the goal that we're working towards right now with Pay Yourself First. So now I do have all of the items from my monthly calendar. So I'm just going to scooch this over, and I'm going to start adding these items to the monthly calendar. And in conjunction I am going to be adding them to these lists in order to make sure I'm not going over budget. So I'm going to try and fit the majority of these in the first paycheck because that's the one that has the most money. So I like to give us our fund money first thing, as soon as possible. So I'm going to do that first, since these aren't like date specific things or essentials. They're just wants at this point. So $50, $50, $50. So that's $150 from here. So I got about $130 left. So I'm going to do car repair and maintenance because our account is going to be pretty low after I go get my gas, my oil change. So that's $100. So I'm going to check that off over here. So my husband, me, and my son, all over here. So that's $250. So we have about $30 left on here. So let me actually add that up. So we have $33.26 left on paycheck number 1. So now I'm going to pause on paycheck number 1 and go to paycheck number 2 and keep on adding these items. So paycheck number 2, I want to get my eyebrows done in paycheck number 2 because that is Thanksgiving. So I'm going to do toiletries and beauty in paycheck number 2. And that is $15 that I'm setting aside into that envelope. Clothing, I'm going to do in paycheck number 2, just in case my son has a growth spurt or something and doesn't fit into any of his nicer shirts or pants for Thanksgiving and for his birthday. So clothing, that's $20. I'm sure I could find something at Walmart for $20 for him. So what is that? $35. So we can keep going. Let's see. House supplies, I'll add into this because again, it is Thanksgiving. So house supplies is getting $20. So we're at about $55. Let me cross off house supplies. Medical, I could put medical into, well, actually, I'll leave that for last because we do back into that, remember? So home repair and maintenance. Oh, I forgot to cross off clothing. Okay, so home repair and maintenance of $20 is the last expense that I need to put on here onto the calendar. So home repair and maintenance is $20. So that is, oh, I forgot diapers. Diapers is $40 actually. So when it comes to things like this, I'm glad I actually made that mistake. I don't like to split up sinking funds if I don't have to. I don't really like to split up bills unless I have to. So I'm actually going to back out home repair because I need $40. And let's see, I'm not going to have enough in paycheck number 2 if I was to do home repair and maintenance. So I'm going to actually take that and put it on, put it in paycheck number 1. Home repair and maintenance for $20 leaves us with $13.26 for paycheck number 1. And then I'm going to put diapers, which typically I would like that to be in paycheck number 1. So we have that money first thing in the new budget. But because we do have a pretty good cushion in our diapers envelope right now, I'm not really concerned about the timing of when additional money will hit that cash envelope. So diapers was $40. So right here we have $95, if I'm not mistaken. My mental math, y'all, my mental math be killing me sometimes. Okay, so remaining, we have $8.22 here. So now that everything from my my monthly budget has been added to these calendars, except for medical. And medical, I intentionally left last because again, we back into it because we back into it, I don't know whether this $21.48 is going to come from paycheck number 1 or paycheck number 2 or a combination of both. So that's why whatever goal we're trying to meet, with this remaining money that we back into, I always leave that one for last. Like any money that's left over from the paychecks, then I can go ahead and write in that category on both of the paychecks. I stumbled all through that explanation, but I hope that made sense. So medical is going to get this remaining $13.26. And then medical on paycheck number 2 is going to get the remaining $8.22. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my math was pretty much correct. So if I add 1326 plus 822, does that give me the 21? Am I out of frame? Does that give me the 2148 that I said that I would have left over in my November budget? So I apologize if this is all over the place, but this is why I typically do this off camera, because it can be like a little bit sloppy and, you know, a lot of back and forth. But 13.26 plus $8.22 gives me 2148, which matches what I said I should have left over in my November budget. So that's how I know that I can count on what I just did in these 2 paychecks to be valid. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add all of these items to this calendar in their respective paychecks. So starting with paycheck number 1, which is the yellow from November 6th through November 19th. I am just going to add up all of these items. So roll mortgage, I like to put on paydays, and I get paid on Fridays. So the first thing I'm going to do is put roll mortgage, and I'm going to actually put the amount that I intend to roll over, just to be a visual reminder of what I want to do, because I am going to like throw these little half sheets away. But yeah, so I like to put them on Fridays because on Fridays, I like to go into our account once I get paid and transfer all of these to my current digital cash envelopes is Cube Money. They are in beta test. Yay! And I am beta testing their Android version. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, then check the link in the description. But yeah, so on Fridays, well, I take all of my digital envelopes and anything else that I need to transfer over to Cube Money. That's what I'll do so that we'll have that money available in our digital cash envelopes. So roll mortgage was on the calendar. And remember, I already did these on the calendar. So our fund money, I like to do on Fridays as well. But because this Friday box is pretty much full, I'm just going to put it on Saturday because, again, these items are not date specific. So I really just try to add as much as possible to Fridays. But it really doesn't matter as long as I put them somewhere between the 6th and the 19th, it's perfectly fine. Because on Friday, I'm going to check my calendar, or actually my paycheck budget, and I'm going to check for anything that needs to be transferred over to Cube Money. Cubs, me, and our son. So our fund money is on there now, and now I need to just put on car repair and maintenance. I could put it anywhere in paycheck number 1, which is represented by the yellow, but I'm just going to put it on put it on this Saturday, right after payday, just so I know that like I want to do that sooner rather than later. So I'm not just having money sit in our account. And then home repair and maintenance. Again, I got a little bit room on Saturday still. So home repair and maintenance. And then medical. Any goal that we're working towards, since this is money that's left over in our account, I like to schedule this on my calendar on the last day of our paycheck. So our last day is November 19th. So I'll put medical and I'll put 1326. And I do that because this tells me on this last day, after all the bills and the transfers and all that have gone through, assuming we haven't had any unbudgeted expenses or anything like that, which should be left in our account on this Thursday, the 19th, is $13.26. That also lets me know that should I need that money for anything, this is how much I have to spend without affecting our budget. So I have that in mind already going into the paycheck. Like even before I get paid, I already know how much money I'm going to have left over, which I find very reassuring. So go ahead, put that aside because we're done with paycheck number 1. And let's move on to paycheck number 2 and do the same thing. So all of these were already done. So I do want to put, I'm not going to put this mortgage because I already put when I need to roll it over from paycheck number 1. So I only put it here to kind of like balance out the numbers. So with our mortgage, what I'll do is on this day, I will roll it over to a savings account and let it sit there just so it's not in our bill paying account anymore. So I can't accidentally spend it. And what I'll do is in the savings account where it is now sitting, I'll set up a future dated transfer for it to transfer out of our savings account back to our spending account so that when our mortgage comes due on the 1st, that money will be sitting in our bill paying account in addition to the money that I'm going to have from paycheck number 2 to pay our mortgage automatically without me having to think about it and having to remember like Sunday or Monday before the mortgage is due on the 1st. I don't have to remember to roll that money over. It's already done. Once I don't have to worry about the mortgage anymore once I do this rollover on the 6th, which is pretty nice. So I'm going to move on to the sinking funds. So toiletries and beauty. Friday the 20th, which is the first payday of this paycheck number 2, is looking kind of full already. So I am going to start on Saturday and put toiletries and beauty. So another quick note, I don't really write the amounts on my calendar unless they differ from what I put on my monthly budget. So like, for example, gas and groceries, I'm not putting $220. I'm like not setting aside $220 as soon as we get paid from paycheck number 1 of November. So I'll write the number on the calendar to let me know how much from that paycheck I'm putting towards the budget. So that's why I write some numbers and other numbers I don't. So toiletries and beauty, clothing, house supplies, and diapers. So all of that goes on that day. And then the last thing we have left for paycheck number 2 to put on the calendar is medical. So again, I'm going to go to the last day of paycheck number 2 and put in what we should have left over once all of the bills and everything have been paid, assuming we did not spend any additional money or no unbudgeted expenses came up. Yeah, so that's it for paycheck number 2 and putting everything on the calendar. And just to like let you guys know what I do from here is basically go into my budget and I will see, look at this. Man, when I did this and I turned the page and saw this is the Erin Condren deluxe monthly planner. So this is not the version that they came out with now, even though I'm assuming it's the same thing. Their new like rename, well, it's not even new. They just dropped the deluxe and just now call it monthly planner instead of deluxe monthly planner. But anyways, these Sharpies, like regular Sharpies, bleed through like a mug on this paper. But funny enough, the ultra fine tips Sharpies did not bleed through this paper. So I don't know what's up with that, but But anyways, what I do now is I basically take the information from these monthly calendars and I make it look all pretty on my actual monthly calendar. Now, again, that may sound like a lot to most people, but again, I am a budget planner, like I am filming this, and I understand that not only do I want it to look cute because I'm a planner babe, but you know, you guys that are watching don't want to see this. You want to see something pretty. as well as, you know, hear like how I budget and things like that. So I'm going to take this and then put it on the monthly calendar. And then what I do after that is I basically set up my paycheck to paycheck budgets, and I go ahead and set it up to look like, you know, just the regular paychecks that you guys see like this. So I'll go ahead and set it up so that I'll write everything in. But I do the amounts with you guys on camera. So I'll just go ahead and write November 6th through the 19th on November budget number 1. And then, you know, when it comes time to set that up, I do it with you guys on camera. I just write in the numbers. So that's just kind of how like my process goes, and what you guys don't see from when I go from setting up my monthly budget with you guys to setting up the paycheck to paycheck budget. So that's just the missing piece, and that's what I do. Seems like a lot, but it really isn't, especially since I typically do this part on in an Excel spreadsheet, so it goes much faster. I'm not writing it out like this, so it goes much faster. But since I was showing you guys my process, you know, I had to write it out and show you in detail. So that's why it seems like a long process, but it's really not. So let me go ahead and put everything on my November calendar, and then I'll show you guys how that turned out. All right, so here is the finished results of my November calendar. So basically all I did was copy this calendar directly over to here. It's the exact same thing, just much cuter. And then you guys probably saw that I added just the calendar from my December budget, and I did just the calendar with the same colors from the second budget, so that I can, like, even though my budget crosses over into the next month, the color coding helps me remember or keep track of the expenses that belong to what budget. So I like to keep them consistent if the expenses carry over to the next month. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. And if you want to help me get to 1,000 subscribers, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.